here are some other things that are, hey, back in the studio, friends, and wrapping up this series on the transition to the new normal, right? The working on Zoom, working from home, working from the remote location, no longer reporting or going to or being amongst your friends and colleagues every day. And then before I jump into that, I want to again say our hearts go out to both all of our first responders and hospital workers who are doing their level-headed best to not get sick and spread the disease, but also taking care of those on the front lines who are sick and hopefully nursing as many or all as possible back to health as quickly as possible. And, you know, we give another heartfelt and empathetic push to lift up our friends and neighbors here in our community and across the country who have been furloughed, whose jobs have been reduced in force because of the pandemic and the economic slowdown. We hope that you all will weather the storm. I think that the stimulus package is almost here, and I hope it gets here fast enough to keep all of you where you need to be over the next 30, 60, 90 days. And just, you know that there is relief out there for you, and we are all in it together. So last bit on this working from home transition, just wanted to touch base on a few closing things, and they kind of touch on the same issue about the adding discipline, adding some structure. You know, I don't know how many of you are meal preppers. I think a lot of people now are meal prepping because of the bareness of just regular goods at the grocery store, how difficult it is to find even obscure things that makes me, I think it's encouraging that so many people are not only trying to still continue to lift up our restaurant brothers and sisters in our community, you know, by keeping their drive-through lines open, but so many people are cooking at home and so many family meals are being shared now. That is a positive thing. And if we're looking for positive affirmation in our daily life, if we're looking for affirmations about never quitting, that's definitely one. And, you know, another positive affirmation in our daily life is not being challenged with the task of what did you touch? You know, when we're driving around in the cold and flu season, I know that I, for a fact, have a bottle of Purell in my cup holder. I keep one in my briefcase, and I keep Purell wipes also in my truck, in my briefcase, and Purell all over the office, because during cold and flu season, you know, when you're shaking hands, when you're networking, when you're communicating with colleagues, you're going in and out of buildings, you're grabbing door handles, moving in and out of your bank, wherever, the restaurant, you know, the germs are everywhere. And this cold and flu season is particularly tough, and it's dragging on. It's not quite 50 degrees here in early April in Texas, which is not uncommon, but it is odd considering how early the spring equinox was. And, you know, we're all protected from that by these shelter-in-place guidelines. And, you know, that's something positive to think about, that you're not out there at risk and risking your family and loved ones because you're working from home or you're sheltering in place. But, you know, another one is making sure that you have, again, back to that discipline thing, smooth transitions in your workday, healthy snacks, you know, planning out, meal planning, making sure, and, you know, we're all home, we're all cooking, making sure you're making healthy snacks to keep your energy level up, and, you know, protecting that positive mindset, because if you're eating right, you're going to feel better, you're going to perform better, and that's in the long term, you know, better for your health, and your health directly ties into your mindset. You know, that venti, delicious whipped caramel coffee goodness that comes in, you know, a 44-ounce cup, it tastes wonderful. But if you drink that, or you drink a Root 44, you know, root beer float every day of your life, you know, sooner or later that's going to have complications like heart disease, diabetes. It's going to cause some kidney problems, liver problems. Cutting those things out going to, in the long term, benefit you, you know. And, you know, the other and last thing is that just a smooth transition. Make sure that your workday is ending at a regular time, and that you're making time to do some exercise, because that, you know, not always the biggest fan of exercise. You know, in the military, you're forced to do exercise. It's the first thing you do when you wake up every morning. You do exercise improvement, or PT, and not always the greatest at it, not always looking forward to it, but I know now the importance of those habits, because they help build long-term physical health, which supports mental health. So anyway, make sure you're having those moments set aside in your workday. You know, whether your thing is jogging or cycling or whatever. And I know cycle bars closed, gyms closed, a lot of things are closed, but you can still get a heck of a workout on your floor with push-ups, sit-ups, some sort of calisthenics. Get on Craigslist, find some old exercise equipment. It's probably at a premium now because the gyms are locked up, but still, it's better than buying it new or whatever. But make sure you're setting some time aside to get your mind cleared out. The ability to go for a Sunday drive is limited, right? So that's really not an option, because that's not a necessary commute anymore. You know, you can't just hop on the motorcycle and go cruise 50 or 60 miles and clear your mindset. So make sure you're finding other ways to clear the mindset. Walking the dog, taking the children to the park, obviously minding the social distance rules, and doing other things to stay healthy. Anyway, I hope that this has been some help to you, that you find it positive, uplifting, and beneficial. That is obviously what it's intended to do. And if you have a question or comment, send it to me on any social media platform you may be viewing this, and I'll respond to it directly or make it the subject of a subsequent video. Thank you so much, and Godspeed.